Hello Crafted Shutter watchers, welcome to another fantastic video today. And before I get started on the subject matter today of stock footage versus cinematic B-roll, I want to encourage you to check out my community tab. I use it as my Instagram feed. I have polls in there. I have other information that you might find useful. Also, don't forget to check out my crafted store, learning store below, and my links down there to equipment that I use. And I want to thank you for being involved in the channel. Ring that bell, hit subscribe, leave a comment below, get involved in the community. I am here to help you succeed, to help you grow, not only as a stock artist, but as a creative and in the field, whatever you prefer, whether it be photography or video. Those two things have merged over the years. If you can do one, you need to be able to do the other. That's really how it's going. Now, your primary focus may be one or the other, as mine is more video than photo, but I do thousands of dollars of photo work every single year. So you've got to be able to do both to survive in this industry and to do well. That's one of the secrets to having the lifestyle that I have and being able to enjoy the freedom that I have, is being able to do both of those when needed. Now, the reason why I'm taking on this subject of B-roll versus cinematic B-roll versus stock video is here on YouTube. I have seen a lot of videos on how to shoot cinematic B-roll and how to create a cinematic B-roll a portion in your video work, and it doesn't always correlate with good stock video. Let me explain. A lot of you have seen what we call in-camera transitions, and that's where you have your camera, and let's just say I flip it this way, and then when I start the next clip I stop it there and I start it and I move it and I flip it this way. Or you've seen like people just throw their cameras up like this and use that as a transition. The quick whip pans, that for, and then sequencing that together in a timeline really can create some fantastic looking shots and really be used really well to tell a story. And I've watched lots of videos on this, and on my channel sometimes it's difficult for me because I shoot B-roll as a living, but I can't shoot B-roll in that style and make my channel a little more what I would call cinematic, a little more cutting edge. It's sometimes frustrating for me because some of the B-roll that I shoot, I would really love to shoot it in that style, but it's not commercially viable to sell as stock video. And so the difference is in post-production, you can take the clip that I shoot like this, gently in stock video, and you can manipulate that and make a transition for that any way you want to in post. But if I, do this at the end of my clip, I don't know of a stock agency that's going to accept my clip. And usually when you're shooting in that style, you're not going for more than 2-3 seconds. You're doing a fast sequence of B-roll shots that really holds the viewer, the attention of the viewer for the video. But for stock work, that just does not work, okay? So when you're watching these videos on how to shoot a cinematic sequence, that doesn't necessarily equate to how you need to shoot stock video. And that's one thing that I go over in my course of how to shoot that. And so the thinking is different, okay? The thinking is, how can I shoot this for an editor to be able to use it how they want to in their project in post-production? Not how can I create a cinematic sequence and sell it as stock video. They're not the same. What is the same out of the stock is the quality, okay? So in other words, if you're doing fancy in-camera transitions, but you're overexposed or underexposed or it looks horrible, then it doesn't really matter how you shot it in all essence. And so for stock video, it obviously needs to have the quality factor of a well-exposed image, usually a natural color grade, so that someone can take it in post and match it up to their grungy style or whatever kind of video they are producing. So I'd say a little bit punchy to a little flat on your color grade. Whatever your preference falls within there, you're going to have a buyer on both of those scales. So that's the difference between cinematic B-roll and making a sequence and shooting stock. With stock, your movements are going to be slow, intent, tilts up and tilt down. You're going to want to use, gimbals, stabilizers, sliders. Thank goodness for in-body image stabilization. And if you're shooting at 60 frames a second, you can get away with some nice handheld shots for stock video. And so I just want you to realize that when you're watching a lot of these videos on YouTube, the people that don't make a living shooting stock video, they're showing you how to shoot amazing B-roll for a cinematic sequence, but it's not amazing B-roll for stock video footage. So that can confuse a lot of people, and sometimes you got to pick which style you want to shoot in and produce for. So when do I use in-camera transitions? Well, I don't use them obviously for stock. I mean, it would be fun if I could. If people wanted that style of stock, I'd love it. But like I said, it's just not out there right now. Maybe somebody wants to start an in-camera transition stock library. But so the difference is on that is, the purpose for your shot. Therefore, on the cinematic B-roll side, you're telling the story with very fast sequences. So if you were to go back and do the same thing as a stock video producer, you could tell the exact same story, but you're going to need to slow it down. Okay? So, when you're just going to need to you can get the same angles as someone is getting when they show you how to shoot B-roll. But for the stock purpose, you're going to need to slow it down. You're going to need to slow your movements down, and you're going to make everything smooth, because what someone is doing is they're taking 3 to 5 seconds of that stock clip, and say you have a 30-second clip. They're only taking a little portion of that and dropping it into their project. And if they need to do transitions on the end of that, they can easily do that in post-production. So you have to keep in mind as you're shooting, where is the meat of your video? What's the best portion being used? And get a little bit before and a little bit after that in a slow sequence to create a good video clip for someone else to use. Because what you want to do is cover as wide an audience as you can, meaning market-wise, that someone would be interested in buying your clips. And the widest audience out there is where the production is shot well lit, well thought out, with purposeful camera movements that are smooth. That is your largest market for stock video. So that is my best tip for you. So when you go out and you watch a lot of other, by the way, Peter McKinnon is a master at in-camera transitions with his camera, and his sequences on his YouTube channel are fantastic. I mean, I absolutely love them. And sometimes, like I said, I'm really torn because I want to shoot that way for the channel. I just don't have time to do that and shoot stock full time as my living and mix that all together. I just don't have the time to do it. But I have shot that way for clients. I have produced videos like that are a little more edgy, some amazing sequences. So I do think it's a skill set that you need to learn, but I think you need to understand the difference. So I really do appreciate people that create amazing sequences. That doesn't mean they're stock worthy, friends, okay? It's very different thinking. Hey, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned something from it. And until next time, we will see you in the next... Oh, by the way, man, it is 20 degrees here in South Carolina today. It's not even Thanksgiving yet. And anybody north... Oh, that's Fahrenheit. And anybody north of me, I am so sorry, because if it's 20 degrees here... Oh, by the way, we don't have any snow. A little bit in the mountains. I can drive an hour and a half and hit 4 inches of snow today if I want to. So, yeah, there's snow around me. I live in an amazing spot where I can do that. So, but hey, For all of those in a colder climate, I am sorry. For all of you sunning yourself in Florida, South America, I'm envious of you. We'll see you in the next video.